Sometimes we believers feel God is at a distance due to our emotions, the vibes around us, or the trials we face. Firstly, it is said that Jesus explicitly promised constant presence. And surely I am with you always, to the very end of the age. Matthew 28:20. Every swing in the vibes and emotion we feel, and during every trial, we have to remember to look to the scriptures. For in Hebrews 13:5 it says, "Never will I leave you, never will I forsake you," which leads me to the tale of Samson. Sometimes it is easy to say a part of scripture has one clear message, but in reality every passage is usually littered with learnings that fertile hearts can absorb and take in. We know the story. The Nazarite Samson is endowed with mighty superhuman strength, yet sometimes we do not acknowledge the fact that his hair was connected to his consecration to God from before his birth. In Judges 13, the angel of the Lord tells Samson's mother, "You will become pregnant and have a son whose head is never to be touched by a razor, because the boy is to be a Nazarite, dedicated to God from the womb." Judges 13:5. The text repeatedly connects Samson's extraordinary strength with the Spirit of the Lord. After Delilah cut his hair upon finding out the secret, the passage reads, "But he did not know that the Lord had left him." Judges 16:20. So the verse says something quite striking. Samson did not perceive that God's empowering presence had departed, but it doesn't necessarily mean that Samson was doubting whether God existed or whether God was with him. It means he was unaware that the situation had changed. Judges 16:22. But the hair on his head began to grow again after it had been shaved off. Then the Philistines gathered to celebrate and bring Samson out to entertain them. Samson asked the servant, "Put me where I can feel the pillars that support the temple, so that I may lean against them." Then, Judges 16:27. Now the temple was crowded with men and women. All the rulers of the Philistines were there, and about 3,000 men and women were on the roof watching Samson perform. Then comes the crucial line, Judges 16:28. Then Samson prayed to the Lord, "Sovereign Lord, remember me, please. God, strengthen me just once more, and let me with one blow get revenge on the Philistines for my 2 eyes." Then Judges 16:29. Then Samson reached toward the 2 central pillars on which the temple stood, bracing himself against them, his right hand on the one and his left hand on the other. And finally, Judges 16:30. Samson said, "Let me die with the Philistines." Then he pushed with all his might, and down came the temple on the rulers and all the people in it. Notice something important. The text doesn't actually say Samson's power returned because his hair grew back. It tells us his hair began to grow again, but when Samson's strength is needed, he prays to God, "Please God, strengthen me just once more." God is waiting at his side, for it is said by Jesus, who was there in the beginning and the end, "I am with you always." Matthew 28:20. I'm not claiming Samson establishes the New Testament doctrine of God's constant presence. Matthew 28:20 and Hebrews 13:5 do that. Samson illustrates human weakness and the act of turning back toward God. So what we should take from these scriptures is sometimes we are tricked by our emotions, the vibes we feel, and the trials we face, into falsely believing that God is not with us. Be that a fleeting moment of doubt, or the cessation of faith, or a prolonged period of perceived separation. God is with us. It says so in the scriptures. As long as you hold out your heart for him, you can grow in knowing him. He will not abandon you, his flock. And remember, according to Judges 16:30, Samson's destruction of the Philistine temple was his greatest single act of physical power. Samson was at his weakest, blinded, captured, humiliated, and imprisoned. Yet his final act became his greatest act of strength, and immediately before it, he prayed. So just keep your arms open or your palms clasped, your mind focused on the scripture, and your eyes firmly on God. Never think he has abandoned you. That is a trick of the mind, perhaps a trick of darkness. So always seek the light of the Lord's love.